बोलो भैया एक बार बोलो।
Check. One. Hey.
Going to start the inauguration of the 4th Indo-European Dialogue on Standard and Emerging Technologies. May I request all the dignitaries, please take your seats. Priya, if anyone outside, just close the door and कोई नहीं है, कोई नहीं है. May I request the dignitaries, please take your seats. We are going to start the session. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the 4th Indo-European Dialogue on Standards and Emerging Technologies. Before we start the session, let's take the God's blessing. And I request the chief guest, the keynote speaker, Ms. Gunjan Dave, Member Technology Department of Telecom, Ms. Magaddo, Director General Affairs, ITSI, Shri Vinit Mathur, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Mr. Lauren Le Daniels, Team Leader, Corporation Section Delegation for the European Union to India, Ms. Vivi Root, Deputy General Chief Standard and Officer, European Commission DG GROW, along with Dinesh Chand Sharma, Director Standard and Public Policy Project SCSI, to join the lighting of the lamp. I also request TV Sir and Sanjeev Ji, CMD TCIL, and Brigadier Saab to please join the Brigadier Tandon to join the lighting of the lamp. Who else? बताओ आप हो गया ना बोल दिया मैंने हाँ आई हैव ऑलरेडी अनाउंस्ड नो आई जस्ट अनाउंस सर May I request all the dignitaries of the session to join on the dais, please. Ms. Maeve Road, Deputy Director General, Chief Standardization Officer, European Communication, DG GROW. Mr. Lauren De Daniels, Team Leader. Shri Chandan Bail, Deputy Director General, IR and TSD MSc and SCM Bureau of Indian Standards. Shri Vinit Mathur, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Keynote address, Ms. Gunjan Dave, Member Technology DOT. Ms. Margaret Joe, Director General Affairs HC. And the moderator of the session, Mr. Dinesh Sharma, Director Standard Public Policy Projects, SACI. Dinesh, over to you.
Thank you, Shashi, for the start of this conference beginning. Very good morning, everyone. A wholehearted welcome to you all for this 4th Indo-European Conference on Emerging Technology and Standards, which is organized on behalf of this European Project SACI, which is an acronym for Seconded European Standardization Expert in India, which is me effectively. And as part of this project, which is representing the European standards organizations in India, Sanalak ITSE, along with the European Commission, which is DG GROW to be precise as of now, and the IFTA European Free Trade Association. So while being locally present for the last 11 years, I have been working with the Indian standardization communities and stakeholders in the areas of topics which are of mutual interest for both of us. As part of the project, we work on many sectors, but broadly, if you see from a horizontal perspective, it is digitalization. So anything comes from the digitalization perspective, we work on it. So we exchange best practices, we share what has been done in EU, and we exchange that dialogue so that we do not reinvent the wheel, and we work together to have a harmonized standard, not only among us, but also at the global platform. So that's what this project does it. As part of the project deliverables, this one conference, we do it. This is the 4th iteration. The last iteration was done before COVID, but due to COVID, we couldn't continue more regular basis, but now it's past. The pandemic is past, so we are back with this conference. As far as the topics are concerned, we picked up these topics with a lot of brainstorming and thinking that what are those common topics which are relevant for both EU and India. And that's how we figured it out, that the topic of circular economy is important. But again, circular economy becomes a very wide, big topic. So to have a focused discussion, we decided to focus on e-waste and the plastic waste as far as circular economy is concerned. Then again, we picked up the smart cities because India was doing a lot while we talk about 100 smart cities mission. So we decided let's pick up this topic and focus on the digital aspect of the smart cities, energy sector, energy vertical, and the transportation, because we talk about e-mobilities, we talk about intelligent transport systems. So that was the second topic we picked up for this conference. And the third topic, because while GDPR was announced in EU long back, which has been implemented already, the data privacy bill was getting debated that time when we decided to pick it up. But of course now it's an act passed by the parliament. So the third topic is data privacy. But then when we talk about data privacy, the cyber security also has a very important aspect of it. So that was data privacy and cyber security. That's how these topics were picked up. I mean, if you want to know more about my project, on the brochure, you will have all the information, but it's sasai.eu. You can visit and you can find out more information there. With that, as we said, the purpose of this platform, which is a 4th iteration, is again to create an opportunity where stakeholders from both the EU and India could come together, discuss together, debate together, and then come out with some kind of activities and action items which we can continue working for next few years. With that, let's begin the conference proceedings. First, we have a video recorded message. Of course, a lot of EU participants could not come physically to this conference for various reasons. But then even the virtual participation was not possible due to a time lag or a time difference. It's too early for them. So we have a recorded message to begin this conference plenary session from Ms. Maeve Ruth, But before we play the video, let me briefly introduce Ms. Maeve Root. She's a Deputy Director General and Chief Standardization Officers at European Commission, DG GROW. She's responsible, for many areas such as green transition of industries, resilience of supply chain, availability of critical raw material, and promotion of investments. In June 2020, European Commission nominated her the first ever Chief Standardization Officer. She's also a member of Horizon Europe Research Framework Program Steering Committee, and also supervises the Enterprise Europe Network and the European Cluster work. Can we play the video, please, of Ms. Maeve Root?
It is a great pleasure to open the 4th Indo-European Conference on Standards and Emerging Technologies. Of course, this is an event which is building on our already well-established cooperation with India on standards. And more broadly, it is also an event that comes very timely now as we are reopening the free trade discussions with India. We are having this conference at a time which is full of turbulences, from the changing climate and related disasters and difficulties in various parts of the world, to the wars that have unfortunately returned to the European continent. We are having times where we have to be looking for ways, consciously looking for ways of keeping our trade open and also working with various other partners to find cooperation areas and to find areas where we can together address the challenges ahead of us. And if we think of the standards, often these are the types of tools which people don't necessarily even notice, but they are very much underneath our everyday conveniences. Even when we think of going to another country, using our laptop in another country, being able to use Wi-Fi, or using our new electric car to drive across the borders, of course it's essential that we will be able to use the services also when we go across the borders. And of course the international standards are underneath all these conveniences, and we take them often for granted. But it doesn't come without, of course, proper collaboration and designing these standards together. So today we have the occasion to look at where we are in this development of the standards, and we will be having a specific chapter, of course, between the EU-India trade talks, the chapter on standardization, which is always part of the technical barriers to trade discussions. We have 3 specific topics or themes that we would like to dive into today. And the 3 themes of the conference are circular economy, which includes e-waste and plastics particularly. We will look into connectivity in smart cities, digital, energy and transport issues in the cities, and we have data privacy and cyber security as a 3rd topic. On all these, I'm very happy to say that we have specific reports prepared, and we will hear more insights about these topics and look together how to develop the standards in these forward-looking important areas. And the work is building on our common asset, I would say. We have had, for a good number of years, seconded European standardization expert in India. And thanks to these efforts, we indeed have already been collaborating, and I'm sure that this helps us to have meaningful exchanges and ways forward under the new EU-India Trade and Technology Council, which was established in 2022 already, but which now, of course, will start working in more accelerated speed. And we do need accelerated speed also for international standards. For many of these new green and clean technologies, standards are still missing. Also, for the digital area, standards are not necessarily there. I wish all the participants today really a very active and engaging mode. I hope that the discussions are going to be fruitful and I thank you for being present. I'm looking forward to the outcomes. Thank you very much.
Welcome remarks by Ms. Maeve Ruth. Let me move to our next welcome remarks, for which I would request Mr. Laurent Denice, who is a team leader under cooperation section and working and based out in India as part of the European delegation of the European Union to India, to deliver his welcome address. But before I invite him to deliver this address, the brief bio is on the screen, but let me read it out. Mr. Denice has over 30 years of experience in the development and international cooperation in Central and Eastern European, the Indian subcontinent, and Africa. Please go back to the last slide, please. Key experience includes the implementation of health and education policies, political economy analysis, the involvement of civil society in public policies, local governance, social inclusion, as well as global partnership. If I could name a few of them, in particular, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria, as well as the Global Partnership for Education, and more recently, the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, known as CDRI. Laurent, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dinesh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm on behalf of the European delegation. I welcome you all here. India is assessed to be, at least by the IMF, the fastest growing economy, with a projected growth of 6.1% in 2023 and 6.8% in 2024. Driven by domestic demand, as you know, pretty strong, and government initiatives such as financial system development, forward-looking policies, infrastructure improvement. Amidst growing global partnerships, the synergy between India and the European Union emerges as a transformative force, shaping the digitalization, energy, security sectors, among others. As India's ascent to technological prominence aligns with the EU's pursuit, an opportunity for cross-continent synergy unfolds. And I don't need, I think, here to remind you about the geopolitical concerns. But let us say they are, in a sense, pretty good for India. And India has an opportunity at the moment to attract partnerships and investments as never before, partly because of the chaos in which the world is at the moment. So we're here to try to also seize those opportunities for India, for Europe, and together for the world. European Union and India are allies and are committed towards creating sustainable, safe, secure, digitally advanced economies while ensuring environmental protection, efficient use of resources, and overall leaving no one behind at the same time. To this, India and the EU have developed frameworks for clean energy, climate cooperation, connectivity, which are evolving under the Roadmap 2025. The Roadmap 2025 for us is within the context of the EU-India strategic partnership, which was agreed at highest level, your Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and at highest levels from our side in 2021. So we agreed to really engage in more strategic partnership. A little bit of a challenge here for us and for India is that this strategic partnership is very wide, and that makes it quite challenging. But that at least gives us room for focusing, and today we are going to focus on three sectors, which is where I think we can make advancements. And these three themes have been reminded already. The Trade and Technology Council is definitely, I mean, time will tell us, but for many of you who've been in the standardization business, we tend to think that the TTC, the Technology and Trade Council, Trade and Technology Council, is a game changer. it is really helping both the India and the EU to dialogue.
Digitalization and the data privacy and cybersecurity. So the joint proposal was the final winner. They conducted the desk research and completed this entire work of study, which includes a lot of information, and we will share a brief snapshot of it. But then let me take this opportunity to release this study report. But before we release, I would request Rakesh ji, Sovik, please come on the stage. Vipin ji, to release this report, just be on the stage with our dignitaries, because let's release the report before we further move forward for the session's proceeding. And TVR sir, please come on the stage. We just want to have a release of the report. Vim? Girish ji, from Terry, please. Yeah, sir. Yeah, yeah. And the brain, the core behind this report, Srinaina and Rishika also, please come on the stage. Okay, everybody has reports? I can get one as well. Srinaina and Rishika, please come. They are the brain behind this hard work. We are taking this opportunity to launch it. Please come. Maybe one can go there. One can stay with me. All right. Let's go ahead. Ria, come. We will have a short presentation about what is captured in this report. Briefly give a overview of the report. And we have not printed many hard copies just to take care of the environment. But I can tell you the moment, now very soon the report will be uploaded on the website. In your delicate kit bag, you have an event flyer. At the back side of it, there is a QR code. Just scan the QR code and you would be able to download the report, including its summary presentation. So with that, let's have a quick overview of the report, what we have captured. So for that, I would invite Sovik first to share the synopsis of this report on the chapters which Terry has covered it, and then after that, Rakesh ji.
Presentation will be uploaded. Yeah, I think the presentation. So before we start with our presentation, I would like to thank Dinesh ji and Sensenelec Sase for organizing this event and also giving us an opportunity to work on a topic which is very dear and close to our heart. Yeah, the presentation is on. So I can make the changes from here. No, it's not there. It's locked. Okay. So, as Dinesh mentioned about the overall coverage of the report, uh, the the broad areas that kind of covered in the exercise includes the circular economy, the smart cities, and data privacy and cyber security. And within each of these areas in the circular economy, we have looked at e-wastes and plastics, in smart cities, digital energy and transportation, and in the data privacy and cyber security issue, which had been covered by Rakesh and his team. The overall flow of the report had been like this, which is presented on your left-hand side, that provides a sector profile, the timelines, the market dynamics, the future potential. And because it is all to do with standards, we have looked at to what extent the policy initiatives had been in these two regions. So far, the standardization in these areas are concerned. And then we looked at the gaps and the challenges and the way forward in terms of how we can strengthen the three critical aspects that would support sustainable transition in the two regions. Next slide, please. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So, so it's very difficult to see from there. So maybe I'll just kind of turn on my left. So as you can see, this particular slide focuses on the electronic wastes. So introducing the electronic waste is futile to this entire community of delegates who are present in this auditorium. But from the broad perspective, if we look at in India, it's still kind of quite informal with a lot of supply chain challenges, having limited access to the technologies, as well as non-availability of auditable data across the sector. Sorry for this, a little bit of a confusion. In the EU case, obviously there are quite a few, but one aspect which I would like to highlight is the aspect of the illegal exports, which is still happening, particularly to the developing countries, for downcycling or recycling. In the area of joint opportunities, we have looked at three major areas that includes the information-based, the market-based, and the regulatory. And when we are talking about the information-based, it's largely on the awareness part. The market-based, wherein there is a kind of a market exchange place where the buyers and sellers come together and trade. And on the regulatory part, it is on the part on the extended producer responsibility and how a carrot and stick approach can facilitate this transition. In the plastics, in India, again, the consumers are very cost conscious, and obviously there is a market for going for downgraded products, and as a result we have not been able to see much of the formal recycling and upcycling happening in the country. So that's one of the major issues, although there are a host of other issues that we have covered. In the EU, again, the practice of exporting wastes is predominant, with limited facilities so far decentralized waste processing activities are concerned. Here also we look at three major areas of intervention, largely the information based, where we are looking at a kind of a bulk level at the consumer level, as well as at the institutional level, and as well as at the future consumers, largely the young communities. On the market based, we are looking at waste exchanges, but also sharing of good practices within these two regions, and obviously the imperative of the right pricing mechanisms to penalize for any kind of impact that has sustainability challenges. And finally, on the regulatory part, from various aspects, we are looking at the mandate on the recycled, moving away from mixed polymers to monomers, which helps in kind of recycling and upcycling. In the smart cities space, the slides need to be moved, yeah. In the smart city space, we have kind of looked at the overall energy aspect. Well, I'm not going into the details of it. Most of you are aware of how the energy profile and the transition is happening in these two parts of the world, but more in terms of the, the smart grid and the energy management, we have seen a lot of advancement, particularly in terms of the introduction of policies like the National Smart Grid Mission that talks about the real-time monitoring, better load management and reduction in the cost. But implementation has been a challenge, particularly when it comes to the cost and the awareness part, and a lot of research and development opportunities that are needed within the country. In the EU, obviously the coordination and the integration plan is considering is needed given the kind of a diverse set of consumer profiles we have within the region. So as a part of the way forward, both in these two regions, as single-ended approach as well as collaborative approach, four major areas that we have looked at is on the cross-border interoperability, the community engagement programs, which kind of raises the awareness about the smart grids, the involvement of the citizens in demand-side management and promoting the energy conservation. And finally, on the investment in the resilient smart grid infrastructure and blockchain, where it can take care of both the natural related calamities and its impact on the infrastructure, as well as the soft related impacts, including the cyber attacks. On the energy integration part, we need steady finances. There are significant variability in the hours of consumption and the ramping that would be needed to in fact meet some of the peak demand in a sustainable manner. So, well, to some extent, some of these are kind of common, but there are also specific areas that includes the aspects of financing incentives, the smart contracts and the blockchain that would enable transparent and automated transactions of all the renewable energy interactions happening in the market. Obviously, the joint research and development in the storage is significantly important to bring down the overall costs and make it kind of grid parity. In terms of the energy efficient buildings, although there are a lot of regulations in the country, but one of the major problems we face is kind of scale of operations. While there might be like a lot of larger players in the market, but at the same time, we do have a lot of smaller players for which the consumers are also not aware of. So I think there is a kind of a disparity in terms of the players, both at the suppliers as well as in the consumers, and which needs to be integrated. Similarly, in the EU, potential issues with would be regard to the non-compliance in all the EU members and the potential challenge of greenwashing. And finally, the opportunities that exist is leveraging the Internet of Things. The green financing schemes need to be strengthened, and the awareness campaigns on long-term benefits on energy efficiency and the benefits that the consumers are going to leverage over deployment of energy efficient devices. Finally, on the transportation space, we are looking at the smart parking system. The main problem in India is that anybody can go and park their vehicle anywhere. So I think that's considered to be one of the major impediment towards transiting from the current system to a kind of a more smarter and efficient kind of a parking systems. So that needs a lot of behavioral change. So while in that would be a part of the awareness aspects which we have covered, but from the other perspective, which is in terms of the collaboration benefits, including the integration of the multimodal transportation aspects, moving from a mass transit to a kind of a single individual transit, as well as other modes of sustainable transport system. We're talking about the dynamic pricing models, which will help kind of influence the consumers to decide what mode of transport an individual is going to take at a specific time of the day. And obviously, all these needs a data privacy, which Rakesh is definitely going to talk about in his presentation. Finally, on the transportation part, we are talking about the traffic management so far, the real-time traffic information is concerned. that will really help the consumers to decide in terms of which routes to follow, although we do have some information, but that's not always a kind of a real time. The collaboration with the private and the public sector, and the awareness, again, which remains a very common aspect across all the issues. And on the electric and the sustainable mobility, the charging infrastructure and the infrastructure across different parts of the country would really, to a large extent, reduce the behavior around range anxiety so far the electric vehicles are concerned. Obviously, of the aspect of incentives for sustainable modes, including the cycling and the walking, and finally the uniform global standards for charging infrastructure. So that brings me to the close of my part of the presentation, and then I hand it over to Rakesh ji. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon. First of all, thanks Shovik for the initial part of the report. And thanks to Dinesh and the CISI for giving us opportunity to compile the quite exhaustive report. And I especially put thanks to Ritika. I am here for presenting, but major job you have done that. Thank you. The overall, when we talk about the digitization, which is our smart city topic, and digitization itself, we all know about that how it is helping us in social and economical growth, not only in India, globally, and where we have taken that in our back of our mind, that how digitization and the digital, when we talk about Digital India, Make in India, especially the recent initiatives, we have tried to compile that in our report, keeping in mind that how India and, of course, the EU and EFTA can combine their efforts together and take a mutual advantage for the growth overall that way. So, see, when we talk about this digital connectivity, of course, is the, sorry, this is troubling. Yeah, this is okay. It's fine. So, first of all, we talk about So, India initiatives, if we talk about from 2015 and till date, a lot of discussions have happened in a way where all the people, please go back. Please go back. First slide, sorry. Yeah. Let it be here for a minute. So, sorry for this interruption. The India initiative and the EU EFTA initiatives are going one-to-one in a way in certain areas. Of course, there are, especially in the city data policy, in terms of the India initiative has taken its shape. Of course, one nation, one card, we all are going to witness or already having into that stream. And this one nation, one card not only covers the entire civilization and a fintech, also at the same time the EU also have done the similar way in terms of the smart communities initiatives in last year, and now if we talk about the seamless multimodal transportation, which is the part of their common initiatives. Of course, when we talk about digital connectivity in smart city, the three legs of the overall the people, how the, the overall citizens are going to evolve here, the all community, business and industry as such, and of course the industry experts. In kind of studying this, we have found that people are playing a vital role before actually they come to the process and the platforms they are using it. How they use it, how we practically making a standard which is used for a common goal. And of course, the idea is that joint efforts should be from India and EU perspective and evolve all these three legs together for way forward in a way. And especially when we talk about EU scales projects in terms of the Amrut mission, which has come now very visible in India, they have the common synergies in that. Next, please. This particular slide is a compact where we have tried to capture in the report that digital aspects connects in all the macro and micro level, all the segments of the industry, all the usage of the industry. Shouvik also has covered energy or transport, healthcare and education. And we have seen in COVID time that how this particular digital aspect has supported us, not only in schools, e-smart or how we have really taken the advantage of digital connectivity. The bandwidth what we use behind is humongous. And surely data platforms is another area which is having they have given really a paramount significance and the recognition in the overall that how a common one platform can emerge so that we can have end-to-end and seamless digital connectivity. These are bit timelines. I will not cover all. We will all see subsequently when we can go through the link. Only the 2 points, only the 2 in last year, the India's, the smart cities initiatives won the Platinum Award, where I wanted to highlight where all Dinesh ji and his all team has been quite actively been doing. And this year, if we talk about the highlighting the 5G deployment, last month there was an IMC in Delhi and we have seen the use cases. And even the PMO has already announced the 6G development. So this is what the 2 areas which will be taken further, a kind of a leap development, joint development within India and EU. So I'm going to cover only 5 from the base that these are the 5 areas where I find a lot of work has gone and going to happen in the future. First is the public safety, which is very, very important to us in smart city, and we find that what are the initiatives smart city safety systems have arrived from the future potential. This is what we need to do. And we are also recommending that, why not develop our information sharing platform for such public services. That's very important because the presence of safety across not only the public places, if we talk about urban and rural, we find still there is a digital gap over there. But of course, we are recommending that the smart city mission should cover that, and we are also recommending that there should be a management, a kind of, we should take leverage of EU jointly in terms of the coordination, and so that the risk can all be estimated together as a forum on that. Similarly, if we talk about the small city projects enhance city infrastructure, which will be a major part of covering especially women's safety. City safety is another a pointer where Nirbhaya project also have taken a good shape. So that kind of an approach and recommendation, we are saying that in urban resilience, this should be carried forward for that. The next topic is, of course, the urban planning. Urban planning and the data analytics is a very, the topic which joint committees are working on it. I'll just take 10 seconds, like Seva Kendra or CSC model, which we have earlier done, have actually made a standard and being replicated in different countries. So this is what, especially idea is the data analytics towards the urban planning should be in advance so that we can jointly could be benefited on this, especially on the urban planning side. Next, please. Water, of course, is a necessity, and we have seen in the recent how important it is. The climate is changing, global warming, water is playing a very, very important role. And that is what we have found. The future potential is the smart water, how we can come from legacy or a conventional water meter to the advanced, and how the standard can, how the even overall connectivity, we are already witnessing in the energy in the next following slide, but it's already started, within the government infrastructure, a lot of initiatives have been. And so we are recommending that water framework directives in terms of the urban wastewater, how we can, reuse it, recycle it so that more efficiency. In the EU point of view, it's already the city plans, if we talk about, they are already doing it. We are going to replicate in that way. The next, please. I hope I'm not taking time. I'm sorry. Just another 3 minutes. Yeah. So these are the reports. In terms of the recommendations, I would request have a feel of from the reports what you are going to download it. Especially in the energy and light metering. The smart waste management is another topic which we have taken and implemented jointly, that EU should adopt, or India should adopt jointly certain cross-country informations on that way. Coming to the last topic, I'll not take your much time. Especially we talk about DPDP in this India initiatives. The act is already in place. The point of the National Digital Health Mission has taken its own shape, and even in the cyber Swachhta, kind of a Kendra has taken a shape, India initiative, and especially in EU. Similarly, Cyber Resilience Act has been adopted and we are taking advantage of it. Common initiatives, especially I'll take only one topic, which is the Identity Production Protocol, which is very important, and these are the common initiatives India and EU has taken. In timelines, the only one point where this year, India-EU joint statement on the cyber security, which I have just mentioned about the DPDP, is already there. So, of course, that will be the baseline to move further. Data encryption is very important. Security walls are coming. There are few recommending points. Please, I will not, especially from the TSDSI or TEC perspective, and of course, Madam is here, DOT perspective, there are common initiatives have been started on these. The last, if I talk about in the security, the frameworks have been recommended. There are 2 or 3 directives in terms of a common, especially on a drop bill. That is what we have recommended and we have found this, then this is a very common, again, identity protection. We are listening cyber threats, the kind of a hacking, which we find, and that also being a part, that biometrics, how we can use that information for the India Aadhaar card, which we are already doing it, how we can further secure it. Of course, there are two, again, points. I'll skip off because of the time. The frameworks is the last slide, which, I like to. Yeah, so summary of recommendations, we can skip this, I think. The trade investment potential, if we talk about the connectivity partnership, global gateways, emphasizing sustainable digital transport and energy network. These are the recommendations we are doing it. And especially if we talk about investor confidence, that is very important. The growth of India till the investors are here, and we have, especially in G20, we have seen a lot of the global companies have committed lot many investments in a different way in the progressing. So that is also one of the common recommendations we have done that. I think the last, the summary, I would say that if we talk about public safety, surveillance, the last slide, please. Yeah. Last slide. It's okay. Yeah. No. Okay. So this was. So especially on the cross-border data transfer standards, that is one very unique initiative we have taken jointly. Sorry, a lot of data. I may need some more time to, but of course, reports are in your hand. Please feel free, and throughout the day, we'll be here to at least whatever little more information point of view, we'll be here. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Dinesh ji, for that.
Research is a research, study is a study. I mean, a lot of data. But the good point is, of course, the fonts were small. You could not read it. As I said, the report could be downloaded. It's good consolidation, both in terms of policy, standardization, research and innovation, capacity building. All these elements have been very well captured around these topics for our own reference. And I can tell you that these gaps and challenges, which they have identified as a study report writer, will be debated as part of the panel. So let's move on. We're running a little late, so let's make it more efficient now, try to make it more efficient. With that, let me invite our next speaker, Shri Chandan Bahal ji, to give a special address. But before that, let me briefly introduce Mr. Bahal. Mr. Bahal is the Deputy Director General for International Relations. Many more responsibilities, but majorly international relations at the Bureau of Indian Standards. With an impressive career spanning over 34 years, Mr. Bahal is a seasoned professional, specialized both in standardization, confirmatory assessment as well. He began his journey at BIS way back in 1989 and has since demonstrated expertise across various facets of standardization. Currently serving as DDG International Relations, Mr. Bahal oversees critical aspect of international collaboration and standard development, and his role also extends being the activity head of standardization, policy, and management system activities as well at BIS. He has a comprehensive understanding of linkages between standards, technical regulations, and trades, entire gamut of it, and stakeholder engagement, promotional activities, and he's also very well experienced in leading capacity building initiative. BIS also has a vertical of training, so he has the entire experience. Thank you very much. Floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Longer than my address.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dinesh. I thought you'll be going longer than my address. Thank you so much for those kind words and introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am Chandan Bahal, as Dinesh has just told you. Shri Vineet Mathur, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Ms. Gunjan Dave, Member Technology DOT, Ms. Lauren de Denois, Team Leader Cooperation Section Delegation of the European Union to India, Ms. Margaret Dorr, Director Government Affairs ETSI, and Mr. Dinesh Sharma, Director Standards and Public Policy Project CSI. It gives me immense pleasure to be here on this important day when we are organizing this seminar. I congratulate the SSI project for organizing the 4th edition of the India-European Conference on standards and emerging technology. As we've all heard before, this year's conference delves into three crucial areas that lie at the intersection of, I would call, progress and responsibility, both circular economy, connectivity in smart cities, and data privacy and cybersecurity. So today our economies are persistently facing the challenges of climate change, supply chain disruptions, rapid urbanization, rising health burden, and global economic slowdown. I sincerely hope that the deliberations that we do today here in this day-long seminar pave the way for strengthening the cooperation between India and EU in these important sectors, especially from the standardization perspective. As we all know, today standards are crucial drivers of the global progress, and cooperation in standards provide clarity, it reduces uncertainty, and expedites innovation. Standardization is now fostering economic growth by facilitating international trade. They create a universal language of product and services. I think that needs no telling. And of course, all these areas that we are going to be discussing today in energy efficiency and climate change mitigation, standards mandate improvements like any energy efficiency designs in the electric vehicles and power systems that we are going to talk about. Cybersecurity standards established robust frameworks, mitigating disruptions from cyber attacks and contributing to the economic stability. And urban planning standards ensure efficient technology integration in smart city development. In summary, standards are linchpins of global cooperation, innovation, economic growth, and sustainability. India today is placed at a very sweet spot. We are leading the world out of the present crisis. India's strengths are underscored by its impressive growth performance. Despite the global headwinds, India has sustained robust GDP growth rates, 7.8% in the Q1 of 23-24. And recently we clocked our all-time high exports of 766 billions last year. So the country's rich resource base, robust service sector, and rising manufacturing prowess, combined with our demographic dividend, offers a promising avenue for global growth and development. And therefore, I believe that a partnership with India is a partnership of the future. And I'm coming from Bureau of Indian Standards, so I will talk about India-EU partnerships in the standardization sector. I'm very happy to share, and it was mentioned also that India-EU FTA that is being currently talked about will have a special chapter on standardization, and I feel that that is a step in the right direction. From the BIS perspective, the national standards body from where I come, I am also happy to inform you that we have entered into specific MOUs with Sensenelec and also with ITSI, which is paving way to develop and strengthen the technical cooperation in the field of standardization between both India and EU and its different bodies. And this agreement that we've entered with Sensenelec and ITSI will help us in finding synergies between the different areas of standards development, and it will also help us in identifying gaps which are there and dwell on wherever we can collaborate in future. So these are two important agreements that we've had with the EU standardization bodies. I also congratulate SESI for bringing out the report that has been just released. Of course, we'll have to study it in great detail. Thank you, Shobit and Rakesh ji, for telling us what is there in the report. But coming from Bureau of Indian Standards and the sneak peek that I had of the report I just landed in my hand, I think there are certain areas where probably whatever has happened in standards in India can be explained more. Of course, it is a work in progress. It is not a static document. And also some of the statements, probably I was reading through it. I do not know the direct context. But somewhere in the current status of India, it was written that they lack in funds, skill, knowledge, and infrastructure. I'm not too sure about that India lacks in any of these today. So probably the report will have to be it explained in the context that these things have been written. So my request to Dinesh would be, this is a wonderful report that has come out today, but keep it as a dynamic document, discussion with the different stakeholders that happen over the period of time. I think this report can keep on updating itself, and of course it will be a very good reference document for all of us. Thank you everyone for bringing out that report once again. Of course, I wanted to speak about what BIS has been doing in these areas, all these areas of circular economy, cyber security, smart cities, etc. We are, I think, running short of time. Dinesh has already asked us to be more efficient. I'll not dwell much on that. I think my colleagues in the later sections, the panel discussions, we'll be having colleagues from India, from BIS as well, who would be dwelling more on these aspects. But very shortly, if I can cover, if we come to the circular economy or the e-waste and the plastic waste, we have been doing pioneering work within BIS. We have set up a standards on thermosetting and thermoplastic materials, polymers, laminates. We have a guideline on, it is already standard so far, which is for assessment of biodegradability of plastics in varied conditions. Of course, research is underway, the experiments are going on, and hopefully we will be the first ones in the world to convert this into a requirement standard where we will be able to assess the biodegradability of plastics in varied conditions. Of course, we also have standards on soil characterization, waste reduction, recycling, etc. Solid waste management systems is another standard that our technical committees are working on. In case of environment management standards, of course, we have all the series of the life cycle assessment. Green manufacturing practices, we have a standard called IS 17022. My colleagues would be talking about these standards in great detail. On the e-waste side also, we have standards on the end-of-life information and recyclability rate calculation. We have on repair of distribution transformers, which is a code of practice, which again is very helpful in this e-waste and waste reductions. Of course, smart cities, we have a dedicated committee which is looking into development of standards on smart cities from the infrastructure point of view, and from the connectivity and the digitization point of view also. We have standards and different technical committees which are working on standards. Some of them have already been developed. I see some of the stakeholders who have taken part in the development of those standards sitting here. And there are many more in the pipeline. Of course, we are collaborating at the international level, especially in the digital space and the data security, cyber security, IoT, etc. BIS has taken lead, I would say, in the ISO and the IEC levels. We are leading many of the projects at the ISO, IEC levels. Of course, they have a JTC1 joint committee between ISO and IEC, which looks into the standardization of these areas. And many of the projects are led by experts from India. They are the conveners and project leaders. And we are day by day suggesting and promoting the new work items at the ISO and IEC level, and I'm very happy to share that they are being accepted at that level also. Good point is that today BIS enjoys or being in all the governance positions at the ISO and the IEC level. We are there in the ISO Council, we are there in the ISO Technical Management Board. Coming to the IEC level, we are there in the IEC Council, the IEC Standardization Management Board, IEC Marketing Strategy Board, etc. So the international footprint of the Indian experts is increasing, and of course collaborations like this with the EU and projects on this, we can contribute equally. I'll not take much time. I'll just say that knowledge exchange between India and the European Union on policy and practices in standards development can create more efficient and effective solutions that prevent waste, ensure health and safety, and promote circular economy, especially in carbon-intensive sectors. Ultimately, the collaboration empowers policymakers, businesses, and communities to address the complexities of climate change, urbanization, resource efficiency, and international trade. I believe that this conference will provide a conducive platform for the dialogue among the standardization community and identify the areas where we can synergize, also identify areas where there are challenges and gaps, and how collaboratively we can all tackle together. So I think let us keep working together, collaborating together, and progressing together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul sir, for your valuable comments. And I can assure you, I mean, the purpose of study report is just to help us continue working together, collaborate together, cooperate together. It's a live document, will remain a live document. If something is not right, it's not right, and I completely agree with it. India has the talent, India has the knowledge, India has the skills, and we are growing. But then again, the whole genesis of this study report is to find out activities, not like highlighting anybody's strength and weaknesses, but find out certain activities where we could work together. So please make sure which page he's referring, and it has to be corrected accordingly, and keep it live. With that, let's move on to our next speaker, Shri Vinish Mathurji, who is Joint Secretary with Ministry of Consumer Affairs, to say a few words. But before that, let me quickly introduce him. Presently, he is serving as a Joint Secretary, as I said, Department of Consumer Affairs with Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution since January 2020. Prior to that, he served as a Postmaster General at Baroda, Eastern, South and Gujarat for 4 years, 2014 to 2018. He's also served as a Deputy Director General, Corporate Planning, Vigilance, Prevention of Money Laundering with Ministry of Communication. Prior to this, he has been the Chief Vigilance Officer, India Post Payment Bank, Government of India, Commissioner of Inquiries, Director General, Central Vigilance Commission, New Delhi. He has also served as Assistant Director General, Vigilance, Technology, Banking and Administration at Ministry of Communication and IT. He is also the OSD and Advisor to Ministry of State for Communication and IT. Sir, please, for your address.
Thank you, Dinesh ji. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais. It is indeed my pleasure to be part of the 4th Indo-European Dialogue on Standards and Emerging Technologies. And the topics which are being discussed are very relevant, and the Department of Consumer Affairs is working a lot in these areas. One important aspect which we have touched, and most of the consumers are wanting the department to look into, is standards for testing equipment and charging equipment. Along with Ministry of Electronics and IT, the department has started working on standards for single port charging facility for laptops, computers. This is in line with our objective, what we are discussing here about the electronic waste. So it has been observed that India is one of the greatest countries which is using a large number of electronic equipment, and therefore there is a requirement of a single port charging system for most of the equipment. So we as Government of India, we have taken up that particular issue, and we are working towards a universal standard to be adopted for laptops and other equipment which are in use. So the next issue which is being discussed is about electronic waste and the plastic waste. So the Ministry of Environment and Forests is already working a lot, and the single-use plastic is completely banned for use across the country. Although its enforcement is a little difficult, but India is working in that, and probably with the European standards and the European way of enforcement, that could be of use, and we could probably gain from those expertise. So if you would see, let me tell you a little bit about the Department of Consumer Affairs. And the BIS is one of our autonomous organizations which works under the Department of Consumer Affairs. And we work a lot in quality and quantity assurance systems. For the quality, BIS is looking into the standards. Our minister and the government is emphasizing that India by 2047 becomes a $30 trillion economy. To take that objective forward, one of the most important items to be looked into is the standards. Standards for products which are probably imported in the country, which are being manufactured in the country. And BIS is taking these forward. We have close to 400 odd quality control orders which are being issued by the line departments, be it steel, cement, or any other industrial item for use, or consumer product which is being produced in the country. We are aligning our standards with the European and international standards so that the quality of products which are produced here are able to be exported outside. And there is also an import condition. Whatever is coming in the country is also of the quality. So our minister, Mr. Goyal, is focusing very deeply on the quality control orders being issued. Our sister department, Department of Production of Industry and the Commerce, they are working essentially in these domains. They are interacting with various world bodies, and we are bringing the quality control standards into play. One of the recent quality standards which we have issued for domestic consumers is essentially about helmets, LPG stoves, and these are the things which are usually being used in the country by most of the consumers, but there were no international compliance to standards. Those have been brought there. So I think there's a lot of work which is going on in harmonization of standards with the international bodies. Mr. Chandan Behel and his team in BIS is working closely on these things. Then one particular topic which has been probably touched here is about digital energy and transport sector. As far as the energy and transport is concerned, the department is closely working with Department of Heavy Industries. We are looking forward to EV being implemented in the EV vehicles and EV batteries. These are being brought in the country. There is a testing, maybe centers which are being established. And a lot has been kept open in the EV sector so that its implementation and adoption increases in the society, especially in the country. So with a view to improve the transportation sector, to save on the energies, EV vehicles are being encouraged by the government. Then there is one particular topic which we are discussing here is about data privacy and cybersecurity. I think the experts will speak about it. This is essentially important for any country to become a $30 trillion economy in the next 20 years, 25 years. And we look forward to data privacy and cybersecurity being strengthened in the country. So with these, I think there is no doubt that India being the fastest growing, one of the fastest growing economy in the world, there is a requirement of quality infrastructure and an ecosystem to evolve. This particular conference and deliberations here are going to help in looking into those areas. One area I probably wanted to speak about, and our department works very closely, is on prices and buffer stocks of essential commodities. That is not one of the subjects which is being probably indexed here, but that is one area I think probably the European countries can help us, essentially in the storage of agri-horti commodities. So we work very closely with Department of Agriculture and the Department of Food in creating storage systems. highly efficient, energy efficient storage systems. That is one area I'm very closely working with. And I hope maybe if there are certain, documents or maybe deliberations in this area or information that can also be looked into, energy efficient storage systems is the need of future for this country as well as for, I think, the world. With these words, I wish this particular conference a success, and the various sessions are going to be enriching for most of the participants here, and their deliberations and the points which emerge will be useful for the government to implement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the role of standards when we talk about trade or economy and reaching $1 trillion, Make in India, the Indian initiative around CROs based on global standard, harmonized standards. Thank you very much for sharing those valuable comments. With that, let's invite our chief guest for this morning, Ms. Gunjan Dave. She's a member technology at Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communication. Before I ask her to give her keynote address, let me briefly introduce ma'am. In her role as the member technologies at Digital Communication Commission, she is responsible for initiating policy decisions, driving technological advancement, and strategic decision-making in telecommunications sector. Prior to this role, she has served as Senior DDG, Senior Deputy Director General for Gujarat License Service Area, overseeing Gujarat and Union Territories, and she has led a successful launch of 5G services in Gujarat. Extensive background in IT, successfully implemented various projects, call it CRM, the network management system, NMS, fraud management system, and she has also handled many other projects like Mumbai Wi-Fi, IT security audits, you can name it, including the MTNL data center. It's a pleasure, ma'am. Thank you very much for taking our time to give a keynote address. Please.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, eminent guests, ladies and gentlemen, namaste and very good morning. It is truly an honor to address this esteemed gathering at the 4th Indo-European Dialogue on Standards and Emerging Technologies. Our shared commitment to fostering collaboration and innovation in the ever-evolving landscape of technology is a testament to the enduring partnership between the European Union and India. As we delve into the plenary session, it is essential to recognize the pivotal role that telecommunications play in shaping the future of our nations and the world at large. In an era where connectivity is the lifeline of the progress, the synergy between European Union and India is not just strategic but imperative. Digital India program is gaining impactful results in achieving the vision of digital empowered society and knowledge economy. Concepts like e-governance, e-health, e-education, e-commerce, e-payments are the true outcomes of success story of Digital India. This evolution of digital services at such a fast pace has been possible due to the digital connectivity led by mobile services and broadband. India's mobile user base of more than 1.14 billion mobile users has been a major contributor behind the success of these programs. High-speed internet availability, connectivity, and to the rural and far-flung areas has worked as a foundation of this digital transformation journey. India is leading the charts of global 5G rollout with more than 3.99 lakhs or 99,000 BTSs covering 378 districts across the country with a customer base of approximately 1 million. Emerging technologies like AI and IoT have become imperative across sectors, finding uses in manufacturing, leading to Industrial Revolution 4.0, smart cities, smart homes, agriculture, automobiles, and many more. Digital services have paved the way for huge amount of data generation. And so business data analytics has become a strategic technology for organizations and businesses. All these technologies advancements come with many challenges, like data ownerships, for example, in blockchains, privacy and security of data, business ethics, development of new standards, protection of patents and standards, sustainability, and environment protection. Entrepreneurship, innovation have become subject of intense debate. Emerging technologies are enhancing creativity and open up new avenues for research and innovation. The technology is evolving very fast, and devices which were useful 10 years ago do not fit into the current ecosystem of emerging technologies. In addition, it's also our duty to ensure that we develop technologies which are environment friendly, like green technologies, which are able to mitigate the effects of global warming. And these things make e-waste management all the more important. DOT has been promoting innovation and standardization activities in telecom domain to promote 5G use cases and its related application for the masses. Honorable PM during recently concluded IMC 2023 has awarded 100 5G labs to educational institutions across the country. The aim is to facilitate the development of applications using 5G services in various socio-economic verticals. The conducive environment is also expected to drive R&D for 5G beyond and 6G technology. DOT has also unveiled Bharat 6G Vision document in March 2023 and formed Bharat 6G Alliance, which envisages India to be frontline contributor in design, development and deployment of 6G by 2030. Bharat 6G Vision is based on the principles of affordability, sustainability and ubiquity. Development of testbed for contribution standards and innovation product development. DOT has funded 2 testbeds in terahertz testbed and advanced optical networks, which is going to play a critical role while developing and testing of the next generation solutions and products. Also, CDOT, an autonomous R&D center of DOT, is setting up an ORAN testbed with various dedicated indoor and outdoor open RAN labs at its Delhi and Bangalore campuses. And these labs will greatly benefit the stakeholders of local telecom ecosystem, including R&D, academia, industry, startups, by offering them a one-stop destination for carrying out the functional, conformance and interoperability tests of various subsystems of telecom network. Contribution to ITU 6G framework. For the support and involvement of telecom stakeholders, ITU 6G framework now includes ubiquitous connectivity as one of the usage scenarios of 6G. And this is possible only with the collaboration of the industry and academia and telecom startups. Incentivization of standardization activity, DOT has set up funds for startups with focus on R&D and creation of standards, is also working to formulate a SOP for future standards participation by industry, members and academia. India has made a beginning, but a lot of work still needs to be done. And here the collaboration and partnerships with various organizations come handy. India and European Union may collaborate on some of the areas for next generation telecom technologies, including cooperation between Bharat 6G Alliance and Hexa-X Alliance for 6G standardization and related activities, cooperation between various ORAN labs established by EU and in India, collaboration and seek alignment for setting global interoperable standards, particularly on 5G, 6G, IoT, M2M communications in global standard setting organization, and joint proposal for WT's SA Assembly, which is being hosted by India in October 2024. collaboration on standards for security of telecom networks, including 5G and quantum communications, partnership for setting up of Center of Excellence in India. You may become partner in IMC 2024. So to conclude, emerging technologies have potential to significantly impact various aspects of society, bringing both opportunities and challenges, and here the standard developments become all the more important. Addressing these challenges require a collaborative effort involving governments, businesses, academia, and civil society. It's essential to strike a balance between innovation and responsible development to maximize the benefits of emerging technologies by minimizing potential negative impacts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for highlighting various research projects in the Department of Communications, the 5G rollout, the 6G research, which will be conducted with the 6G mission program and the Bharat 6G Alliance. We look forward to continue working with the TEC, TSI in this journey. With that, let me invite Ms. Margot Dor, who is the chairman of this European Project CSI. She is a director, Government Affairs at ETSI. Please give your closing remarks and a word of thanks. Thank you.
Thanks. Good morning. I'll be quick because I understand coffee is calling or tea is calling. It is my great privilege and honor to be part of this inaugural session in the presence of the dignitaries. I'd like to extend our gratitude and thanks to the esteemed speakers, Ms. Gunjan Davi, whom we just heard, from the Department of Telecommunication, Mr. Vinit Mathur from the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Mr. Chandan Bahal from the BIS, Laurent Le Danois, whose name is more comfortable to pronounce, as you can hear, who is from the European delegation in India, Mr. Rakesh Malik, and Mr. Suvik Bhattacharya. To close, I would like to read you a sentence that comes from an interview of Mr. Joschka Fischer, who used to be the Minister of External Affairs not that long ago. And he says, if I can read it, after 3 decades of moving towards a single global market governed by the rules of the WTO, the international order is undergoing a fundamental change, and an open, unified global market may indeed become a thing of the past. So this might sound gloomy, but I think this is what's happening now. The geopolitical context is changing very much. We all have to adapt. Standardization is to adapt, because we used to collaborate globally and thinking it would forever be that way. It is not that way. Everybody is repositioning. I think standards have the power to contribute to still talking to each other, provided we redefine the right terms of the dialogue. India is becoming hugely consequential on the global standards map. Europe is trying to redefine itself with the standardization reform. We need to really define what are the priorities, what we need, and the terms of the dialogue. I believe this type of conferences can help doing this, which is why I'm super happy to be here. And I heard very interesting things from the different speakers. I'm also very thankful for the CESE project, because they contribute to doing this and trying to define the terms of the dialogue, identify priorities, and so forth and so on. And I think I would like also to thank Dinesh and his team, who are doing a fantastic job, and thank the Bharat exhibition organizer, and thank you very much all for being here.
With this, we come to the end of this inaugural plenary session. Few of you might be present in our last conference, which happened a few years before, but as a token of appreciation to our dignitaries, last time we stopped giving mementos, but we started giving green certificates. Through these green certificates, we pay an organization to plant X number of trees, and I can tell you with this conference, around 300 trees will be planted in Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine as part of this conference. So with that information as an update, now I request Mr. Laura to kindly felicitate our chief guest of this morning, Ms. Dave, with a green certificate. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being part of this conference. Thank you. One more time, Laura. After that, I will not call you. To to Sir, Mr. Vinitji. Thank you very much, sir, for your taking out time from your busy schedule. I know you was pressed for next conference. We are late. Now I would request Margot to kindly do the honor. And I would like to request Shri Chandan Bahalji to kindly. Margot, please hand over to Mr. Not to you, to him, to sir. Thank you, it's a joke. No, click a picture. May I request Shashi, are you here? Shashi Dharan, please come on the stage. Could you please give the green certificate to Mr. Laura? May I request Priyasani to come on the stage, please, to give the certificate to Margot. With that, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. With this, we close this plenary session. Unfortunately, we have no break. If you want to take a tea, please go out and come back. But we are immediately starting our next session because we have lost a lot of time in our plenary session, which happens here in India. But let's start the next session. So stay where you are. We close this session, we start the next sessions, grab a coffee and come back, okay? Thank you very much. Just technical break, not the real break.